Hi everyone, this is Ed the Audio Nut and Radio Amateur W8EDW. I have 3 direct boxes that I need to check out for my brother Harry. He's a sound man at a church here in Columbus. And he had 3 direct boxes that he said he's having problems with, and so I'm going to check them out and see what the problems are. And we'll have 3 different kinds of direct boxes, different styles of them. A direct box interfaces between an instrument and your sound system, and what it does, it changes an unbalanced cord like this that plugs into the instrument, and it changes it so that you can have an output into your actual sound system. It uses a cable like this on the other end of the box, and then plugs into the microphone input into your sound system. So basically these boxes, they have the 1/4 inch input, and then they have the XLR out, and then on the inside of the box there's a transformer that transforms the unbalanced signal from the instrument to a balanced signal out that your sound system likes to see. So anyway, we're going to mess with these and follow along with me, and we'll figure out what the heck is going on with these. So let's take a look at the first box. Now this one has dual 1/4 inch jacks on the end here. And basically one is an input, one is an output. That's if you want to loop between your guitar. Say your guitar is coming in here, but you still want to use a guitar amp so you can hear yourself up on the stage or whatever. There's an output here that's 1/4 inch, and then so it just loops through and goes to your amplifier. The box actually has a transformer in there that will sample this input, and that transformer is what changes it from the unbalanced to a balanced output. On the other end, you've got a XLR style. That's going to go to our sound system. And then a lot of boxes will also include a switch on them that allows you to lift the ground. In other words, the actual shield on the cable sometimes could cause hum between the stage and the sound system. And a lot of times if you click that lift switch, that'll eliminate the buzz that you get between the instrument and your sound system. So that's the first one. Pretty basic direct box, and it looks like it's in fairly good condition, but we'll check it out. I'm going to set up a testing system here in just a minute where we're going to test all these boxes. So that's the first one. So here's the next direct box, and basically the same setup as the other one. You have a input on this side, the 2/4 inch, and then at the other end, excuse me, you have the XLR out here. And then it also has the ground switch here on the side that allows you to lift that ground on the shield if you want to. So it's basically the same as the first one we looked at, and let's look at the next one. So this next box looks like it's been around the block a few times. It has the 1/4 inch inputs here, just like the other one did. A little bit fancier switching here. You actually have a ground lift, which I noticed that switch is jammed. It will not move. So I don't know what the heck happened with that, but when we tear into it, we'll figure that out. But then this one also has a line level switch, and then also the instrument level switch. So in one position, it's a little more sensitive. When it's in the instrument position, we're using the pickup. Say an acoustic guitar with a pickup or whatever, you would use it in the instrument position. In the line position would be more for a keyboard. You know how a keyboard has a little more output. And so you would use that in the line level so you don't overload the transformer that's in there. On the other end, take a look at that. Has XLR standard as the usual on the other one, but this one does look like it's been around a while. So we'll tear into this. Maybe the connector on there too seemed like it was a little loose, but we'll check all that out. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to set up a testing station where we're going to, feed a signal into these and then see what comes out the other end. So we're going to do that next. So here's our basic test setup. Basically a powered mixer over here, and using the XLR input, and here's the cord we're going to plug into the direct box, and then the signal coming into the direct box, what I use is my phone. I have it's a cool app on there. It's called Function Generator, and it's free. It's on the App Store. But basically just puts out tones and so forth. So I'm using the headphone out on my phone, and then I'm going to a 1/4 inch plug here that we're going to use to plug into the direct box. So anyway, I'm going to hook that up, and we'll see what happens. So I've got the generator plugged into the direct box input here to the one that says in. And then I noticed that when I plug in the XLR on the other end, it's really loose and doesn't really snap into place like it should. But anyway, let's just see if we get a signal through here at least, and hit my generator. I'm hearing it. Let's turn it up a little bit. So we see a signal is coming through. But look at that. I mean, that's really loose, and that's a problem. So probably going to end up replacing the XLR output on this end of the box. So that's box number 1. So here's box number 2, and I'm noticing right away 1/4 inch jack input here is loose, and that obviously is a problem. Let's see if we get a signal through there. Anyway, put some tone in there. Okay, yeah, looks like it's the direct box itself is okay. It's just this connection here that I think is going to be our problem. The output seems to be fine. It's nice and tight, and you can actually hear the. Let me shut this off. Maybe you guys can hear this. See, there's with the lift in one position, it buzzes more than the other. So we know at least the lift is working correctly. All right, so we know in this one, 1/4 inch jack problem, and the other one, of course, had the XLR out, was a problem. So let's see what the next one brings us. Here's direct box number 3. Plugged in the 1/4 inch, it seems to be nice and tight. No crackling and popping, and the same way with the XLR out. Seems to be pretty tight. I think that's in pretty good shape. Everything else seems to be functional. Let's kick this on and see if we get a signal through it. Okay, we do. Might be a little loud. We'll turn it down a little bit. But anyway, let's check out the ground lift. I finally got it loose. I think it just needs cleaned. Might have had something spilled in it. The attenuator switch, let's check it out. Right now it's in the line level position. Let's see if it gets louder. It does. Okay, when you switch to instrument, which is more sensitive, it gets louder. You'd use the line level for a keyboard. It has a lot more output. So let me kill that thing. Pretty loud. So we're going to tear into this box first. Basically, I'm going to take it apart and clean everything. I think that's basically all it needed. And this will complete that box, and then we'll tear into those other two and repair the broken XLR out and also the 1/4 inch in on the other one. So that'll be the next thing. So this is the first box we're going to start on. Now, after closer inspection, though, I discovered something that they riveted it together. So what I'm going to have to do is drill those out and put some screws in when we put it back together. But I wanted to be able to get it apart so we can, you know, clean these connectors and everything from the inside. So I'm going to get my drill together and we'll take that apart. All right, let's see if we can get it out. I think the rivet just popped out of it, so we'll clean that up and do the other three. I got the other three rivets taken out and vacuumed off the unit to get rid of all the metal shavings and so forth. So let's take a look inside here. And you can see right away this is the XLR out there, and down in here is the transformer. See it right here. That's the unit that changes the unbalanced signals that are coming in over here to balanced, and then it goes to the XLR connector here. So the inside looks pretty clean. It probably just needs the jacks cleaned up over here. I'm going to spray some things in some of the cleaner also in the switches and so forth. So one thing I noticed though, check this out. It was made in September of '99. So it's been around a while, but still working and still doing the function of a direct box, and all it really needs, I think, is cleaned up. So we're going to get some contact cleaner and maybe some gunk removal for the outside and clean this thing up a little bit. First thing we're going to do is clean up the contacts on the 1/4 inch jacks. So we'll use a little bit of this stuff. I use, I don't know if you can see this. Let me turn it here. The CRC you can get at Home Depot or any place like that. And it's just a contact cleaner. But normally I just spray a little bit in. Spray it on the inside as well. And then what I usually do is run a jack in and out to kind of clean the jack. Can't hit the hole. There we go. And then I think I'll also spray in a little bit in the switches. Can't hurt because they are exposed to a lot of gunk, dirt and gunk. This stuff will work its way down in. It's pretty thin liquid, so it will penetrate into the cracks of stuff and get into the bulk of it. So that's pretty good. I think we're in pretty good shape there. Now I think I'll put a little bit over here on the XLR side as well. And let me see if I've got an XLR. Yeah. And we'll just do the same thing, plug this in and out a few times because it just helps take off some of the dirt and gunk that builds up on there. Get nice and clean. So I think we're pretty good on this thing. I'm going to test it a little bit before I put it all back together, just to make sure, because you never know. I'll get all the screws in it, and then it'll go, no, this is wrong. Electronics has a way of doing that to you sometimes. So we'll start testing it next. Okay, we're getting ready to test the system. Plugged into the high Z in over here, where your instrument would normally plug in. And I have my test tone on my phone ready. And it's plugged into the sound system. So we'll kick this on and see if we get a signal. Which we do. That's a good sign. And I want to test the attenuation switch. Now normally this would be in the line level right now. The keyboard would be coming in. And when I switch it the other way, it should get louder. That's the instrument mode. Yeah, that would definitely be louder. If you plugged like the pickup of an acoustic guitar in there or something like that, it doesn't have much output. That's the position you would use. So I think we're pretty good on this. Everything checked out. The ground lift switch and everything is loose now and seems to be functioning well. So I think we're done with box number 1. So now we're moving on to box number 2. So it's on to box number 2 here, and it's a little smaller than the other one. It doesn't have as many features, I guess. It has 1/4 inch inputs and the XLR out. It does have a switch on the side here that's for the ground lift. So that's kind of cool. At least it's got those features. And then I noticed it doesn't have rivets that we have to go through. So these screws should be easy to get out. Kind of a trick I use when I'm doing small screws is I always lay a cloth on the bench. And that way when they bounce, they just stay on the cloth and they don't go off the bench. So anyway, I'll get busy taking this apart. So I got the screws out, and we're going to open up the back here. And I was looking a little closer at this too. This is by Behringer, which is pretty good stuff. So we'll take a look and see if it looks any different on the inside than the other one did. Oh yeah. So right away you can kind of see the transformer is bigger in this one than the other one. Has 2 1/4 inch open jacks there. They're in parallel. The ground switch over here. And of course the XLR output over here. So if I remember right, this one, the problem was the 1/4 inch jack. And it probably either needs a new one or this thing just needs tightened up a little bit so that when the tip hits this, it holds it a little tighter. Because it seems to be, when you push the jack to the side one way or the other, it causes it to hum. So anyway, we'll check that out with it apart and see if we can see mechanically what's causing the problem. So this is the direct box that had the problem with the 1/4 inch making noise when you push it one way or the other. And so what we're going to do is we're going to test that right now with the toner. Turn up the tone a little bit so we can hear it a little bit better. Ooh. So definitely this is loose. Let's try the other side since they're in parallel. Now that one's perfect. So that tells me that this side we need to inspect it a little more. But you know what? It's loose. The whole jack is loose. And I think that's the problem. Turn this down here. Because it looks like they use the case itself as a ground. It's a nice metal box, but it looks like the case grounds to the jack. So I bet if we tighten that up, better, that's going to eliminate the problem. So we'll give it a try. Stand by a minute and I'll tighten that up. So I tightened up that jack real good, and it feels a lot better. It's making, real good contact with the box now. So let's put a tone in there and put the wheels to it. Yeah, I think that did it. We'll try the other jack as well. And that one's good. So it looks like everything on this box is in pretty good shape now. I'll probably just clean it up on the inside contacts and everything before I put it all back together. And I think that fixed it. I'll put some cleaner in that switch as well. But anyway, pretty easy fix on that one. We'll move on to box number 3. This last box is pretty much the same as the other ones. It's got 2 inputs over here, 2 1/4-inch ends. It does have an attenuator switch with 3 different steps of attenuation, which is kind of cool for different instruments. And of course the other end is the XLR out. Now this is where the problem lies on this one. When you put a cord in, it's supposed to lock into place. In other words, when you snap it in like this, it's supposed to snap in. This does not. That's been damaged in there to where this catch that's on the connector doesn't catch in there anymore, and I can see where that would be a major problem. It would fall out easy. So it's going to take replacing that. We'll have to take this apart and see what we're going to get into, see what connectors I have that maybe we could retrofit on there. But notice this one takes screws to get it apart. There's like 4 of them on each end here. One there and one there, so forth. So anyway, I'm going to get the cloth out so I don't lose the screws. Take this thing apart and we'll see what we get into. So I got the last box apart, and it's kind of a difficult disassembly. It has 4 screws on each end of this part of the box, and then each end has a panel that's held in by those 4 screws. Then the whole thing can slide out. It's kind of a nice design. It's just kind of a shame that they use this plastic XLR on here that breaks. So anyway, I'm planning on using this nice connector, nice metal one, that hopefully won't be a problem. And luckily it fits into this thing pretty nicely. It just fits in like that. The holes even line up, which is kind of cool. So what I'm planning on doing is I'll desolder this guy. I'll put some wires on this and I'll solder into the PC board where this thing goes. So anyway, hopefully it'll turn out okay. We'll give it a try. I'm getting the box put back together now. Basically what I did was desolder this plastic thing off of the PC board and replaced it with this unit here, nice metal one. It shouldn't give them any problems down the road. So basically I'm going to put this back together partially, and just enough so I can test it out, make sure everything works, and then I'll put the screws back in it, and I think we're done. Got my tester hooked up, and before I've put the screws back into everything, I'm just going to test it all out. So I'm going to put a little tone on there, which I do hear the tone. And then it's interesting, this switch has 3 positions on the attenuation, and let's switch it. Right now it's on the lowest. There's the next highest. Wow, it gets really loud. So you got 3 choices on the input sensitivity, which is pretty nice. And So anyway, it seems like it's working good, and we are going to cut it off and put it back together. So that's a wrap on bringing these direct boxes back to life. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I want to thank my brother Harry and his church for allowing me to repair these. I'm always looking for something to make videos on, and it really worked out nice. He got his boxes repaired, and I got to make a video. So it's the best of both worlds. Anyway, everybody watching, have a great day. Thanks for watching, and give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. We'll catch you guys next time.